What if you can't retire yet? This is a follow-up for the retirement planning case study for Aerith. She's 60 and wanted to see if she can retire now. In video 1, we did a CPP focused analysis. In part 2, we reviewed downsizing and what that would look like for her retirement. In part 3, we further revised other cash flow changes that we can make to make it possible for her to retire sooner rather than later. In this video, we'll look at why it could make sense for Aerith to delay retirement or even add a part-time income as she enters into retirement. When you're doing this analysis for yourself, you need to be clear about your personal situation. Advice and financial tactics are always contextual and personal to you. I did a video talking about reasons why early retirement may be a bad idea for some people. You can watch that in the description links below. The truth is, many have come to treat early retirement as a major financial win, and it's almost getting competitive. I mean, my sister retired at 63, so now I have to retire at 60. So it could feel like a major blow being told that you need to put off retirement by a year or two. Now, in those instances, we may just have to go back to really understand what you value, depending on what you would need to give up in order for you to retire. For some people, there are just non-negotiables that they are willing to delay retirement just to make sure that every other financial goal is met. For example, would you forego helping your grandchildren with their education in order to retire 1 or 2 years sooner? Or would you be okay working an extra year to help make sure that they don't take on student loans? It's different for you, it's different for everybody. For Aerith, we're missing those individualized pieces. So for this video, let's assume that she's okay working longer and we'll go and continue that analysis. Let's say the trade-off she's making is about downsizing. She's okay working longer if it means that she'll be able to stay in her primary residence longer, which, by the way, is actually a real goal that we hear often. We hear people say that they'd like to maintain their primary home for their lifetime, and then they can either pass it on to their estate or they're okay with it being sold to take advantage or take care of any last liabilities when they pass. The scenario that I'm here to modify today is the one we created way back in May. So she decides to maintain her home and take CPP at 70, keeping OAS at 65. The sustainable after-tax inflation-adjusted income at that time was $38,000. The first change here is that we will now add her income back for 5 years, earning $90,000 until the end of the year she turns 65, and that's adjusted to inflation. She already told us in one of the earlier videos that she really only spends $4,000 a month. Therefore, we will invest the remainder when she decides to go to work. That changes her sustainable income in retirement from $38,554 to $54,882. You have to understand that there's a major trade-off here. You have to understand that her retirement is now 5 years shorter compared to before. Since the case study was designed primarily to highlight the relationship between delaying retirement and sustainable income, I have left investment accounts and contributions here just as defaulted, maximizing employee and employer benefits and contributions to the group RSP, maximizing the TFSA, and then contributing the rest to the non-registered accounts. With our clients, we will discuss all of the available past contribution rooms as well as spousal accounts. I will likely need to do a different video explaining all of those, which accounts we prioritize funding 5 years, 10 years before retirement. And I feel like I just need to explain that relationship between delaying retirement and income. That could be self-explanatory, but I need to break down some of the key points here. Delaying retirement for 5 years means 5 more years of her nest egg to compound and to grow. That's 5 years of tax deferrals, as well as 5 less years of needing to rely on her assets to live off of. One way to make delaying retirement more worthwhile is to spend on goals that you have for retirement and doing that now while you're still working. You may have enough vacation time, for example, every year to take some of the travel goals off of retirement and do that in the 5-year ramp up towards retirement. So if you have 4 to 6 weeks worth of retirement travel while you're working, it'll take a lot of load off of your financial responsibilities when you actually stop earning a paycheck. So let's assume for Aerith that in her case, she can travel and she can do a little bit of vacationing in the summer or a time that she chooses to, and she can spend an extra $10,000 per year on travel until retirement. All that means is that she's still working, but she's saving a little bit less during the last 5 years. This reduces her sustainable income in retirement to $51,997 per year until she's 90 years old. To me, this is a worthwhile trade-off. It gives us a balance between having steady income. It also psychologically allows people to spend and to travel knowing that there's a paycheck coming. So let's consider another option here. What if instead of deciding to work full-time until she's 65, she decides to quit her job now? Maybe she just hates it and she takes on smaller consulting projects where she can reasonably expect to do very part-time, but because it's a lighter load, maybe she can do this until she's 70. What if she can earn $20,000 per year in net fees and just adjust that to inflation until she's 70 years old? She can decide to retire from her full-time job today, simply redefining work and what she's willing to put in. If that's doable for her, her sustainable income changes from the $38,000 to roughly $44,000 a year. So how about you? If you found out that you could not really retire yet to meet all of your financial goals, would you keep working the job that you're currently in? Or would you rather work part-time elsewhere? Let me know in the comments below. So if she follows the part-time consulting plan, at age 86, she still leaves $1 million plus estate. Most of it is from the value of her primary residence. So knowing what we know about this fictional character, I would still ask her to review the possibility of downsizing. Not necessarily just for financial reasons, but if there's no real need for leaving a large estate, why would she, right? Now, we don't need to bake that into our plan today. However, it is definitely something that is worth reviewing once she's actually entered retirement and she's tested how she's spending, how she's living, and how she's enjoying retirement. Maybe she'll experience that the $44,000 is not enough for her. Then we can review adding the value of the real estate into her retirement plan. I hope this gave you some applicable ideas. If it did, please consider leaving us a like and subscribing. It really does help our channel grow. Happy retirement, much love, see you soon. There's more retirement videos right here somewhere in the end screens. See you next week.